It's such an unusual position to play against one of your dad's teams. It was difficult because there were certain games when Dad needed to win to maybe get out the relegation zone.
One particular game that will always stick in my mind, I was managing West Ham and Jamie caught Frank with a bad challenge. Les was my goalkeeping coach at the time there, and he said to young Frank, get back on and do him good and proper. He said, he's done you there. You get back on and make sure you do him. And I'm stood there thinking, this ain't right. It's my hang on, it's my son. He's telling him to go and do him.
Jamie, welcome to the show, mate.
Hi, Dodge. You're right, Dad. Who didn't turn up today? So what happened? How come I got the late shout for coming on?
Well, we had about 4 letdowns and we thought, where can we get someone? I hear you played well yesterday.
I played well yesterday, Dad, yeah.
What, Queenwood?
Yeah, Queenwood. I had a nice game. Played with Andrei Shevchenko.
There's brilliant.
I've got to be honest, when you play, you're sure you got that mate that you played golf with. There's nothing better than beating Andrei Shevchenko at golf. He's the worst loser in the world. He walks off without even saying goodbye.
And I bet you didn't play with 2 Bob either.
Well, I know you're not really a betting man, and you don't agree. So yeah.
Yeah, good.
Harry, what was Jamie like as a kid growing up?
Yeah, great, no problem.
Was he?
Yeah, not a problem. Football mad, sport mad. Just if they were doing sport and playing football, and I mean useless at school, but we've told the story a million times. I honestly used to drop him at school, and he'd say to me, "Oh, Dad, I've got rubbish lessons today. Can't I come training with you at Bournemouth?" And I used to take him training, and he's come and train with the players there, So, but no, he was. They weren't a problem. It's problem. We went out to America, on the travels, and it wasn't always easy. People always think, "Oh, you've got plenty of dough and you've had plenty of money and they've had." I mean, we were struggling, me and Sandra, to be honest, when they were little. I'd finished playing, we had no money. I'm thinking, what am I going to do with my life? And I was going to say to you before, I was going to buy a Bournemouth taxi. That's right. But we didn't have the money. It was like £14,000, £15,000. There was no way we could get the money to buy the taxi. You have to buy the plate. So yeah, things weren't easy. We were lucky. We got the break, and I got offered a job in America. Mark and Jamie, obviously with Sandra, we packed our bags and we went to America. Lovely. And so that was a lifesaver for us, really. Lovely. Going out there.
And what was that like, Jamie, back in the 70s, growing up there in Seattle in America?
You know what? It was just I just always accepted that when your dad's a football manager or a coach, you're just going to be travelling around, and it was the norm to be the likes of Jeff Hurst, Bobby Moore, George Best would be in our life. Dad was playing games against Pelé, but it was something that Mark and I were so fortunate to do, to travel around. And I think that's why I've always loved the US. I like going there even now. And it just feels like almost a second home to me because I enjoyed it. I know it didn't really work out the way Dad would have liked, but I think all the experiences and all the stories that you get from Dad.
But we ended up in Seattle. I mean, it was an amazing story in the end, wasn't it? Where, I'm the coach at Seattle with Jimmy Gabriel. And we had a great year. We got to the final of the soccer bowl, and we got beat by the Cosmos, Pelé, and all that, Carlos Alberto, wow. Beckenbauer. They was all at the Cosmos at that time. And during the off season, we came back to England, and Jimmy rang me. We got an offer to take over a brand new team in Phoenix, Arizona. And I remember saying to Jimmy, "Well, Jim, why do we want to move? Life is good, we've got a good job here." He said, "Harry, they've come in," he said, "and they've just offered this crazy money. They want me and you to go and take the team over." He said, "And the guy's going to ring you called Len Lesser. He's the chief executive for this club, and he runs the club. He's going to give you a ring." And, anyway, he rang me up, this guy. And he's asking me, "Well, what are you looking for, Harry? We want you, super coach, you and Jimmy Gabriel." And whatever I was thinking of, I was asking this guy, well, he's saying to me, "How much do you want, Harry?" And I was thinking of a silly figure and doubling it, and he was giving it to me. He's saying, "No problem, Harry. What kind of car would your wife like to drive?" Sandra couldn't even drive. She never even had, right? "And what about a full Mustang convertible for Sandra?" I'll go, "Oh, yeah, she'd like that. Yeah, lovely, thank you." Right? And so this is how it was. And we all got out there, and boys come. So we've left Seattle, left a good job, me and Jimmy Gabriel. We're off to Phoenix. We get there, we start training the first couple of days. Suddenly it was March the 2nd, I'll never forget it, was my birthday. And go to the bank, and the bank, they say, "I'm sorry, there's no money in your account." I said, yeah, there is. I put some money in. I've got my wages from the football club. They said, I'm sorry. Anyway, out comes the bank manager, and apparently the bank, there was a problem with the money from the club. I went back to the club. Len Lesser, who owned the club, sitting there. He was the main. He was the chief executive. What he'd done, he got 6 investors involved, and they all put millions in, and he basically stole all the money. And we was all part of the con.
You're joking.
We was part of this con. So I've took like 6 players from England over. I took lads I knew. You know, it was funny. Rather than, I didn't just go for big star players. We was in the Americans. I thought, oh, good players, do a job. You know, and I'm ringing up people like Neil Haig, who I played at Bournemouth with. Good player, Hagee. He's now playing for Darlington. Right? Can you imagine? I ring him up. He loved the sunshine. He loved himself. He was a bit of a good-looking boy. And I ring him up. Hagee, all right, Harry. Hagee, how'd you fancy coming to Phoenix, Arizona? What for? To play football. What do you mean? I said, listen, we want to sign you. I've gone there with Jimmy Gabriel. We're looking for some players. We want to bring you over. You interested? Harry, I'm playing for Darlington. Do you think... Are you having a wind-up with me, Harry? I went, no, serious. We want you to come to... They can't believe it. They're on the plane, all coming over. They're all saying, good old Harry. Right there. I've got 6 of them. I've made their lives, haven't I? I've dragged them all from all weird places.
Yeah. On the way back, Aggie was singing, Harry Redknapp.
No, so that was it. Funny enough, you know, Jimmy Gabriel was my big pal. Jimmy was a great player for Everton and Southampton. The boys grew up with Jimmy. He was our neighbour when we came to Bournemouth. We signed on the same day, and Jimmy had to go to court with his Len Lesser when he got charged. And Jimmy said to me, Harry, I feel bad. He said, I can't stand up there and put the man in prison. I went, Jim, let me come over. I'll get him in the electric chair. That bleeping prison, what he done to us. Jimmy's going, yeah, but I've got. Anyway, I think he got 2-3 years. I think he got 3 years. I was saying in an open prison.
What set Jamie apart, Harry, when he was younger, growing up playing football?
I don't know, really. I just never had any doubt that he was going to be a footballer. I mean, I know people, you know, even from the age of 6-7 years of age, you know, he just seemed to could read, understood the game, could play. So yeah, I really didn't have too many doubts, you know. But when it came to leaving school, we had a difficult period. You know, Jamie could have gone to loads and loads of different clubs, but he signed for Tottenham, and he was ready to go. You know, like it was going to. Terry Venables took over at Spurs, and we loved Terry. He was a great manager, great coach, and a great personality. Yeah. But Jamie used to come training with me at Bournemouth, and. He went up to Tottenham suddenly, you know, and he stayed in some digs with one of the other boys there who was, 18 or whatever. And he said, Jamie, you never get a chance here. You know, they just sign players. And he came back and he said, you know, I think I'd rather come to Bournemouth when I leave school. I said, you can't. You sign forms for Tottenham. You've got to go to Tottenham now. He said, yeah, but I won't, you know, I'm going to be playing in their youth team every week. He said, I think I can get in your team. You know, because he used to come and train with the first team with me when he was 15. And in the end, he just wouldn't, as much as we fell out, we'd argue, and he wouldn't go out. So I've got to go to Tottenham, see Terry Venables. So we both went up. We sat in Terry's off, Terry's in the office, and we had a row. He wouldn't have it. He said, Harry, we signed like 8 kids this year, and he's the only one we really want. And now you know, he just wasn't happy. Wow. But we said, well, you know, look, it ain't my decision. It's Jamie's decision. He won't. So sure enough, he better to get his release, and Tottenham got some kind of a... Yeah, well,
I think, I tell you what, they got 25% of the fee there, didn't they? And
yeah.
I thought of an idea. I don't know if you remember, we're going in the car. Well, why don't we just say, you know, you're very close to me, you're homesick, and you don't feel comfortable going up there. And that's a great idea. The only problem was, a year later, I signed for Liverpool.
Yeah. That's right. That was there.
That was our go-to. He's homesick.
Do you used to call him Dad or Gaffer?
Dad.
Dad, yeah.
Was there?
But you know, and then suddenly, I mean, Jamie, he got into the team. You know, he was in the team at 16 at Bournemouth. Yeah, in the first team. Wow. Yeah. So he's playing in the first team, and then suddenly, I think we played Birmingham away, and I got a phone call. Kenny Dalglish came on, and Ron Yates had gone to the game at Birmingham, and Kenny rang me. He said, Harry, your boy, he said, you know, can we do something with him? Can we get him? I said, Kenny, look, he's come here because he could have gone to any of the clubs, you know, any other Premier League club, if you like. I said, but he wants to play, you know. Anyway, this goes on, and he's ringing Sandra. I mean, Sandra's answered the phone to him one day, and I can hear her say, "Oh, Kenny," she went, "Sorry," she said, "I couldn't understand your Scouse accent." I went, "Everybody in the world knows Kenny Dalglish is Scottish, Sandra." She went, "Oh, I didn't know that." She thought he was Scouser because he managed Liverpool, right? Anyway, we go up to a game again. He invites, "Come up and watch a game. Let's have another chat." I said, "Kenny, look, he's not ready to move. He's playing every week at Bournemouth." We go up to a game. We went out for dinner after with Kenny and Marine, I think it was his wife, and we're chatting. Kenny said, "Look," I said, "Kenny's not going to play. He's not going to get in your team, mate. You know, He said, "He will get in the team." I said, "He can't get in your team. He's, you know, now just come up 17. He's not going." He said, "I'm going to build a team around him. He's going to play." And once we heard that, and Jamie heard that,
wow,
we went, didn't we? We took it.
Wow.
So off he goes. He goes to Liverpool. Kenny's there. I think first game you was on the bench, James, weren't you?
Yeah, Wimbledon.
They've only in them days probably only had probably two subs.
Two subs.
Yeah, two subs. So he was straight into the fray, and and then Kenny overnight resigned. So from all that going on of Kenny ringing, and
way.
Suddenly overnight Kenny was gone. I mean, when Jamie went there, he stayed at Kenny's house, didn't you? I mean, for a while, you know, he used to stay at Kenny's, and you know that's how close he was with Kenny.
How did you feel, Jamie? Like Kenny Dalglish wanted you, and then all of a sudden he's not the manager. Graham Souness comes in. How did that make you feel?
Well, it was more before that, Dodge, actually, because when he actually resigned, I can remember it now. We had it was an incredible day because I used to stay in digs just across the road, so I'm walking into the training ground, as you normally do, 9:30, everyone's sort of muddling and getting ready for training. I started hearing whispers, "Kenny's gone, Kenny's resigned."
Yeah.
I'm like, this don't sound good. You know, what's going on here? Surely he's not resigned. You know, he's only just signed me. He's told me he's going to, you know, to a certain extent, build a team around me. So be it, he has resigned. And we all get called into a meeting, and Alan Hansen steps up in front of everybody. He says, "Right, listen, Kenny's resigned, but things are going to change around here. I'm now going to be the manager." We're all like, wow, okay.
Wow.
This is interesting. So everyone's sitting there, and he said, "But you know what? The only thing is, Kenny was very soft with a lot of you." So I can now hear there's a couple of lads slip out the room. They've got to tell their mates to have a bet on Alan Hansen and Liverpool. Alan goes round. He said, "Right, things are going to change." Steve Nicol, he said, "You know the Crown, the pub you go to in Southport? No more of that. It's done. You ain't going. If I find you in a pub, 2 weeks' wages." John Barnes, "John, I've looked at you late. You look a little bit heavy. Too much Kentucky Fried Chicken. Any Kentucky Fried Chicken, you're going to be fined 2 weeks' wages." Brucey Grobler, I said, "Brucey," I said, "I know. After a game, you're having a few beers. I see it, fish and chips. Everything's going to change around here. All the players are going, bloody hell, Alan Hansen." Anyway, Al walks out the dressing room, and everyone starts going, "What's it? He's been one of us. What's happening here? This is a disgrace." He walks back in and says, "Boys, I was only joking. I'm retiring."
Brilliant.
I'm retiring. It's been the greatest adventure ever working with all of you. I wish you all the luck. Look, I'm sorry about Kenny. He needed to do it for his own reasons. And then he obviously walked out of the room. No one knew what was going to happen.
Yeah.
But the one thing that I'll never forget, and it's probably one of the nicest things anybody's ever done to me. So that afternoon, I go back. I'm not going to lie. I'm on the floor because I'm now thinking this was obviously I've signed for the greatest club in the world, but I've also signed because of Kenny Dalglish, and I adored him. So I'm back at my digs. I'm in tears. I'm thinking, what's next? You know, couldn't be further away from home. Next manager comes in, he might not fancy. You know what it's like in football, the negative, all the doubts that you have. I stayed with a lady called Mrs. Sainsbury. All of a sudden, my phone goes. The phone goes in the house. She said, "Jamie, there's someone on the phone for you." I go out to the phone, and it was Kenny Dalglish on the phone. He said, "Jamie, so I just want to say that what I've done today, it was something that I needed to do for myself. It's been an incredibly tough time lately. But all you need to know is you're going to be right here. They think the world of you. I'll make sure I'm always looking out for you. My house is always open. Anytime you want to come." He said, "Tomorrow morning, I'm going to go and play golf at Hillside. I'd love you to come and play golf with me." And I was like, "Kenny, that'd be a pleasure." He said, "After training, get in your car, don't say anything to anybody, and just come down. We'll have 18 holes." And that was a pure mark of the man. Like one of the, he didn't need to speak to me. He had a million things going on in his head. But the fact that he obviously had so much respect for mum and dad and myself, for him to do that, it's one of the greatest things anyone's ever done. And even to this day, he's the kindest, nicest man, and he's a true hero. And why it took so long for us to give him a knighthood with some of the people we have given knighthoods in the past is absolutely disgraceful.
And who's the best player you've ever played against?
Zidane. Yeah, Zidane.
Yeah,
I've got his shirt. I've got his shirt here somewhere.
Have you?
I'll get it. Hold on, it's over here. It's we played him at Wembley. That was at the year they'd won.
Oh, nice. Got to get that frame, Jamie.
I know. I did have it in a frame.
Did you? Wow.
I think that was the closest I got to him actually swapping shirts.
Harry, do you remember the first time you two faced each other?
First time, no. I remember one particular game that will always stick in my mind was when Jamie caught Frank. I was managing West Ham, and Jamie caught Frank with a bad challenge, and Frank came off to get treatment, and it was Les Seeley was my goalkeeping coach. I absolutely love Les. He was such a special person for me. We lost Les at 40, I think he was 41 when he died with a heart attack, but Les was my goalkeeping coach at the time there, and he said to young Frank, get back on and do him good and proper. He said, he's done you there, you get back on and make sure you do him. And I'm stood there thinking, this ain't right. It's my hang on, it's my son. He's telling him to go and do him. It was strange. I didn't say it. What can I say to Les? Oh no, you can't tell him to do that because it's Jamie. What do
I think Roy Evans was great. I loved Roy, and he always used to say to me, "Look, Jamie, do you think this might be a good idea? Because I know how emotionally difficult it is. Because it's not an everyday relationship, Dad and mine. It's weird. Though he's my dad, he's my best mate. So for me, it was difficult because there were certain games when Dad needed to win to maybe get out the relegation zone. I'm sort of compromised to a certain extent. It's such an unusual position to play against one of your dad's teams.
Brilliant, Jamie.
Quality. Jamie, thoroughly enjoyed you having on the show, mate.
Dodge,
James,
Dad.
Have a good day, mate. And when we're going to get a game of golf in? He don't invite me anymore. I'm not quite up to the standard of Shevchenko and them. They're a little bit different level to me.
All right, H, we'll get you involved.
Have a good day, Jim.
All right, H, I'll see you later on.